No impressions in Google Ads or no clicks. You've set up your Google Ads account, you've gone through all the settings, you've launched your account only to log in a couple of days later, and you find that there's still no impressions and no clicks. So what's going on? In this video, I'm going to run through a step-by-step checklist to walk you through exactly how to fix these sort of issues with your Google Ads account. It's usually something pretty simple, and we can get most accounts running very quickly. My name is Adrian Harrison from Growth Savvy Marketing, and I help service businesses get more paying customers and more leads using Google Ads. This video is mostly aimed at service business owners, although it will work for shopping to some degree, but there are some extra steps that you may need to take with your shopping ads. But if you're a service business owner, like a plumber, a dentist, electrician, accountant, that sort of thing, then this video is for you. This is the exact process you need to use if your Google Ads has no impressions or no clicks. I'll just run through this process and then we'll go into detail onto how to do each step. Step 1 is just patience. Step number 2 is looking for red flags in your account. Step 3 is budget and bidding issues. Step 4 is looking for targeting mistakes. And step 5, there's a final list of things to check there. The first step might seem like you're not doing anything at all, and that's just to have some patience, because Google's system needs quite a bit of time, or can need quite a bit of time, to make any Google Ads account work and start getting impressions. This can take anything from a few hours to up to a week. So before you rush off and start changing things, I suggest that you just leave it a week, wait and see what happens. If you've still got no impressions after a week, then move on to step number 2. In step 2, we're looking for problems with the account, red flags. So we're looking if your account is healthy, and usually these issues are pretty easy to spot because Google will tell you. So we're looking for a red banner up the top, like this one here, which says none of your ads are running, your campaigns and ad groups are paused or removed. So obviously that's a pretty big hint. And you'll also see down here, it'll say something like this. You may also find that your account's been paused because you haven't completed the advertiser verification. Google sends you an email requesting that you verify your account if it's new, and that usually involves verifying your business name, your identity, that sort of thing. So you'll see a banner up the top and it'll say something like this, complete advertiser verification. So you really just need to click on that and just follow the prompts and go through the process. You may have to upload some business documents, some identification documents, and fill out some information about your business or about yourself. Another common issue is the billing status. If you don't have a credit card on file, it's expired, or you haven't paid your bill, or the payment hasn't gone through, Google will pause your account. And again, you'll usually see that in the form of a banner up the top telling you that you need to fix up your payment method. So just again, follow the prompts, go through that and put in your credit card. Another simple mistake is having paused campaigns or paused ad groups, or even landing pages that do not work. So make sure your campaign here is enabled, and once that's enabled, go through and check your ad groups and make sure your ad groups have the green circle here. Next thing we want to check is that our ads are working. And if we come over to our ads here, first of all, we can see the status, all ads disapproved. And if we look at our notifications, we'll see one ad disapproved here. And usually there's other notifications that will tell you why your account isn't working. If we come down to our ads here, we can see in the status column that this one is not eligible. And this is because the destination or the landing page is mismatching from our actual business URL. The other common problem you get is that the landing page isn't working and it's not loading correctly. So perhaps you've mistyped the URL or the landing page address, or that you've moved the landing page. If you click on your ad here and open up a new tab, you just want to make sure that your landing page actually loads. We've gone through step 1, which is this waiting 3 to 7 days. We've gone through step 2, which is just checking basics in your account, making sure that there's no warnings or errors from Google. And in step 3, we're going to go through the budget and the bidding. First thing you want to do is check if your daily budget is too low. You can find your daily budget in the campaign over here and the budget here. So how do you know if it's too low? Well, what you need to do is you need to look at your average cost per click of your keywords. So if your average cost per click is $6.50, for example, and your daily budget is $10, that's just not enough budget for Google to be running your ads. They're going to get 1.5 clicks out of it. So they're probably not going to show your ads if your budget is that low. The rule of thumb here is to make sure your budget is about 10 times what your cost per click is. So if it's $6.50, you want to have a daily budget of $65, and that'll give Google enough budget to actually run your ads. How do you check the cost per click? Well, you can come over to Google Ads, come over to Tools. Under the Planning menu, you want to go to Keyword Planner and discover new keywords. Type your keyword in right here, plumber near me. Make sure the location here is set to your location that you're actually targeting. So you want to just target your city, for example, and then get results. And what you'll see here is the different keywords. You want to actually do this for your actual keywords, but you'll see the top of the page bid and their high range. Just average those two out and have a look at their rough average for all your keywords. And once you've got that average worked out, you can 10 times that to get your daily budget. If your budget's right, then we want to move on to the bidding strategy. Make sure that you're using the right strategy for your campaign. With new accounts, I recommend that you start with maximize clicks. It's really crucial in the beginning stages of an account or a campaign that you collect as much data as you can. After that, you can start using an automated strategy like maximize conversions. If you start with maximize conversions, usually Google doesn't have any conversion data to be able to do that. So that's why we need to start with maximize clicks. So after 20 or 30 conversions, when you're running maximize clicks, you can switch to maximize conversions, and then later on you can look at a target CPA. So to check that, come over to Google, go to campaigns, come down to your campaign here and click the little gear icon. Under the budget and bidding menu, you can come down to the bidding here. In this case, we do have clicks or maximize clicks selected. If it's not, you can click the menu and find clicks. If you don't have that showing, you can click this one here, and that'll show you other different options. Hit save, and now you've got the right strategy. Next, we're going to look at targeting mistakes. Targeting mistakes are going to involve the audience settings and also keywords, locations, and your ad schedule. Once you're in Google Ads, come down to your campaign. Make sure you've selected your campaign and audiences here. We'll first check our audience segments. So come down to here, edit audience segments. If you haven't entered anything in here, you won't see this box. So we'll click campaign. What we're looking for here is to make sure that we're in observation mode and we're not in targeting mode. The targeting mode will really narrow down the reach of your campaign, and so as a result, you may not get any impressions if it's way too narrow. So make sure you're in observation mode to start with. While we're here, we'll check the demographics. So edit demographics, choose your ad group. And what we're looking for again is we want to make sure that we haven't narrowed this down too much. Obviously, if you're selling female products, you want to deselect the male. If you're selling male products, deselect the female. But we want to make sure that we haven't just chosen one of these boxes, for example. That might be just too narrow for Google to actually start serving ads. Next, we'll check your ad schedule. So that's down here, ad schedule. So click on this one over here. And we want to check that our ads are running at appropriate times and it's not too narrow. So these are the times of the day and the days of the week that your ads are actually running. So in this case, we've got 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., which is really narrow. So we want to make sure that our ads are showing for a much wider period of time than that. The final thing to check in their targeting is your location targeting. You can get to that in two ways. You can either come down here to locations and choose your campaign. Or the way I prefer is this campaigns. Come down to your campaign here, click the gear icon and scroll down to locations here. There are two things to check here. First of all, we want to be actually targeting a location, not the entire world, or in most cases, not the entire country. So you can hit enter another location, advanced search, search for your city or your town, hit include, and that's going to target just your city. We want to be careful of targeting very small towns or suburbs because sometimes that's just not going to be wide enough or broad enough for Google to actually show your ads. The other thing that trips up people is the location options. So in location options, we want to have presence. People in or regularly in your included locations. We don't want presence or interest because this option here is going to target people that are outside of your area, and that's not going to give you good quality leads if you're doing that. So just make sure that presence is selected and you can hit save after. The final thing we're going to check is your keywords. So come over to your campaigns here, and then we want to go keywords, There's a few things you want to be checking with your keywords. The first is that we're not using really long tail keywords. So long tail keywords, for example, drain cleaning, plumbing services, Sydney. This word is just going to be way too long and probably won't get any search volume, and you can actually see in the status here, it says not eligible, low search volume. If it says that, then it's probably not going to get any impressions or show your ads at all. What would be a better keyword would be drain cleaning Sydney or something like that. The next thing you want to check is the match type. If you've got long tail keywords and you've got them as an exact match like this, they're probably not going to show. Generally, for something like this, emergency plumber, something popular that someone would type into Google, exact match is probably going to be okay. But if you found that you've got a word like this and that you're still not getting any impressions, then you might want to experiment by changing it to phrase match or even to broad match. If you do change it to broad match, you want to make sure that you have negative keywords added to your account to make sure that your ads don't show up for words that are unrelated. Let's just recap the steps that we've done so far. Step 1 is to make sure you've given your campaigns enough time. So waiting, that's 7 days. If you waited 7 days, then it's okay to proceed to the next step, which is checking your account health. So that's going to be to make sure there's no billing problems, no policy problems, ensure that your verification has been done and that your ad groups are active and your campaigns are actually active, and also that your landing pages are working. If you've done those things, then you can move to step number 3, which is making sure your budget is okay. So again, like we said, make sure your budget's at least 10 times what your average cost per click is. And you can find your cost per click by going to the Google Keyword Planner, typing in your keywords and having a look at the low and the high estimate of the costs and averaging them out. Step number 4 is to check your targeting. So make sure your audiences are set to observation mode, not targeting. Make sure that you're not excluding too many ages or other demographics. Your keywords should be fairly short, not too long tail. If they're really long, your ads aren't going to show. And make sure your locations are targeted correctly. You want to make sure that you've got a big enough area to target. If you've got a really small town, then your ads may not show. So you need to target some surrounding areas. And also make sure that your ad schedule is broad enough that you're giving Google enough of a chance to show your ads. Final step, step number 5, is just make sure that your bid strategy is correct. Maximize clicks for new campaigns, and you can go maximize conversions once you've got 20 or 30 conversions in your account. If you follow all of these steps, this will most likely fix all of your problems with your Google Ads account. Make sure that you do get impressions. I highly recommend that you download my 150-page Google Ads Guide for Service Business Owners, which runs through all the right settings for your account. This will make sure that you're getting those impressions and you're also getting conversions and new customers. If you want someone to do this for you, you can book a call with me. I can set up your account. I can audit your existing account and get your account working if it's not where you want it to be. The links are in the description below. Cheers.